All right, we are live. This is Facebook Developer Circle Riga first online event during this COVID-19 crisis, I would say. We are online developer community, one of Facebook Developer Circle communities throughout the world. We usually create live lectures, meetups, and workshops, but because of the current situation in the world, we will continue our activities online in internet. So the COVID-19 has affected every industry. Many companies are trying to adapt to new circumstances. Some companies have found a way to utilize their existing technology and their know-how to help the fight against the virus and the crisis around it as well. We today have two great speakers from Italy and Estonia, Domenico Colucci and Viktor Lillemäe. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it correctly. And we'll start with Domenico, and he will tell us about his company Nextome and how they are helping in the fight. Domenico, stage is yours.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you everyone for your time. So I'm Domenico Colucci from Italy, and so we have present just a technology for location indoor the people and assets, and this is just a week ago we can modify the solution for tracking the patients or the doctors inside the hospital. So I just share my screen. We can introduce the technology. Is just 1 minute of a video. It's so very simple video. Okay. The solution is very simple because we have need just a very small sensor like this. Is a beacon sensor. We can location the asset, so the electrical medical devices or the doctor or the patient in the hospital. And so we can share the information in another platform, and we can in real time tracking, we can locate people on the assets. And so this is a solution which is very interesting because in the hospital we can mitigate infection of the patient inside the small room on the corridors. And is another function is the same infrastructure, the same beacon installed environment is indoor location. We can we have just on a smartphone we can location the POI on the events inside the hospital because it's a very big environment, it's a very big, and technology is just open for indoor location because the GPS is working in outdoor but doesn't work indoor. And for the visitor is very interesting because its function is can reach the department or inside the hospital. And the supervisor security, we can check the people, who can check the area. Is just a lot of people. It's not just an assemblement for the people, for the security about the emergency and the COVID-19 is a very good technology for this region. Okay, it's just quickly introduction. The technology is a patent in US, Singapore, and in Europe. You can just use a small beacon like this. This hardware is very cheap, $8 for one chip. And we can use the smartphone. We can install the application in the smartphone. It's just working. Okay. If you just a question or
All right. So you're having these beacons put on medical devices. Did I get that correct?
Right. Yes. The beacon we can install on the ceiling for the tracking the position of the users, and one beacon we can put on the jacket or in the pocket. We can track the signal, and so we can just see the blue dot on the floor plan. Okay, it's just a GPS technology, but working only indoor for this technology. So we can use the GPS indoor, like for example, we can just parking my car. We can use the Nextome technology. We use the outdoor GPS. And we can, entering in the department of the hospital, we use the Bluetooth technology in the same application.
So this technology is tracking patients already that they're known to have COVID virus, or are you tracking all the patients in hospitals, or how does it go?
So especially we can track only the patients, okay? But we can insert a specify ID for the infection patient, okay? We can have the position in real time these patients in department. The solution is very good for the post emergency, okay? Because in the hospital the infection is a very lot because a lot of people we can moving, so is a lot of machinery is moving, and these technologies are just very quickly, and the setup is very easy because it's just one sensor. The battery life of this sensor is just 1 year, 2 years. It depends for the beacons, or it depends on the battery. And this is very scalable because on the market is just another RTLS technology. But the problem is the cost of installation is very high, and the proprietary hardware and the cost is a lot. This technology is open to hardware. We can use a standard. Okay, beacon and the Bluetooth technology is a standard. We can use the sensor, or we can use the smartphones, no problem.
How do you think about deploying these to hospitals? Did hospitals approach you first, or was it your initiative to have these beacons deployed throughout the hospitals to help tracking these patients and medical devices? Was it?
Yeah, it depends for the project. Especially is the solution is for you mapping all the hospital, because we can see on the video the same infrastructure. We can have a different function. The first is the asset tracking for the patient or doctors. The second is asset tracking for the machinery, electrical medical devices, because it's a very important. It's a big environment and big building. And the last one is the indoor navigation system, because we can use the GPS every day for the navigation, okay, for driving the cars and so another situation. But inside the big building, we don't have this possibility to use the GPS technology. And so it's very important for the security region. Okay, we can counting a number of persons in this department for the security, and we can I have and don't have a lot of time for the reaching a department. We can use my smartphone. We can install the application of the hospitals, and so we can show the path. Okay, we can reach the doctors or the department. So every function with one infrastructure is very important.
I see. So, how many hospitals are there already that has Nextome technology deployed? So they're already tracking. Is it, and is it just Italy, or is it throughout Europe, or maybe somewhere else?
Yes, we have a installation in US is 2 hospitals, and in Italy we have open starting a new project in South Italy in Policlinico Bari. Is a very new project because we can install the beacon on the entering the department. Okay, we can send a notification for the visitors. The Policlinico is a very big campus in the hospital in Bari. It's the biggest, and so we can just starting this project with the Puglia region is the government financing this project. We can install a beacon in department. We can so adjust in beta version the application for so we can search in the department with the application, and we can send a notification when you are arriving. Okay. Another function is for the asset tracking, especially for electrical medical devices, because so it's a very important cost, and the position is not accuracy, especially in the big building.
We are having some problems with the live stream, but we'll post the video afterwards in full in the events page. So there might be, if people join, we have some more questions. I have a question about the technology, and does it interfere with the medical technology? Is it Bluetooth? Can it somehow maybe interfere with the technology that's in the medical devices that's in use?
Yeah.
Or is it potentially harmful, or can
no problem? Yeah, the beacon technology, the Bluetooth technology is at 2.5 gigahertz. It's like a similar band or Wi-Fi connection, but it's not a problem for interferences because we have the algorithms inside the server of the smartphone. We can mitigate the noise. Okay, and this sensor, the beacon technology is just ready for the hospital environment. It's just certified. Okay, no problem for certification or another things.
Okay, so how sorry.
No problem.
So okay, so it's really good hearing that you're doing this this thing for the hospitals, and hopefully it will help hospitals and people to get better sooner, and then help doctors. Is there something else you want to add, or?
Oh, it's okay. It's just another question. I'm ready.
Okay, I think that we don't have any questions from people yet. But,
no problem.
But just to be clear, you're using the technology now for the hospitals, but it's deployed throughout different industries. Is that correct?
Yes, it's just ready for installing the hospitals, and so it's just ready for the infrastructure, the CMS for the content management system about information, is the machinery or the electrical devices or the patient. Is so no problem.
So how much work did you have to put on top of what you already had to maybe shift to this this industry, hospitals, or did you already have everything you had there before the crisis, or you have to put in some extra work? And how did you approach that that shift, and for especially for hospitals?
So the approach is so we just furniture is about the system integrator. It's especially okay. It's another company. It's the biggest company, so we can sell CRM for the hospital. We can so it's just another software for the doctor or another things. We can sell the solution for a system integrator. We can integrate Nextome technology in another technology. Okay, the hospital, for example, if the hospital you have a application for the payment of the parking or the payment or another things, we can just install, integrate the SDK Nextome technology, and the application is ready. It's very simple.
Okay, Domenico, thank you. I think if you have some more questions, people can ask them. Again, we are having some problems with the live streaming. So people, if they join Zoom, they can ask questions here. If not, we'll have the full recording afterwards. So people can ask questions afterwards also to the video, and probably.
Okay.
Can you answer them? Is it okay?
Yes, sure,
okay,
sure.
Okay, thank you, Domenico.
Thank you.
Was great hearing. Next, we'll move to Viktor Lillemäe. He's a CTO in Zelos. They're using their already existing volunteer app to help people and organize volunteers for people in need during the COVID crisis. But he'll tell you about that more in detail. Viktor, the stage is yours.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. So for me, like Domenico started with hospitals. For us, it was a bit different because our app is volunteer. It's a volunteer app, but it was designed for festivals and events. So we started the film festival, the Tallinn Black Nights, and it's just a way to delegate tasks to hundreds of people, just kind of crowdsource them. So that's what we've been doing the last couple of years. And now when the crisis hit, we found ourselves in a kind of peculiar situation because, as you maybe have heard, the event market is decimated. There probably won't be any. We lost pretty much all our pipeline for the first half of the year, maybe the second half as well. We'll see about that. So that was kind of a big hit for us. However, we also kind of discovered that, hey, we have an app that scales to thousands of volunteers and allows us to crowdsource tasks. So we should, do something or kind of modify it and do a pivot in a sense. So what we decided was not to do actual pivot because we still have clients in the futures events and also communities. However, we decided to hack together sort of like an add-on or an external service. And that happened, I don't even know, like a month ago now. I've lost track of time, but with the first HackTheCrisis hackathon in Tallinn, Estonia. So what we decided to do is not to direct resources to the current application and turn it into something else, because it still is a commercial software. However, we designed backend service API, which still does existing APIs and services. So rather than building a new product, I just duct tape everything together. So what happens is we put up just a WordPress site with a form. The form connects, has a webhook to the service API. If someone submits a request or someone calls in to the call center we have, then people will do a card on Trello with their details and the help they need. And then moderation is just moving stuff from Trello lists. And according to the list you move it to, there's a webhook that the API is listening on, and if you move it to approved, it will get approved. The person will get an SMS saying, "Hey, we got your request. Someone's gonna pick it up soon, probably." Or if it's a bad request, which we also do, some people just ask, "Hey, like this, I need money. Send me money." So in this case, we just deny them, and they get an SMS saying, "Hey, try again," or like that's not what we do. And where Zelos comes in is that we have the task delegation system. So based on the location of the person doing the request, I will go to Zelos, and then out of we have like 2,500 people in Estonia in the app. So if someone requests help in their area, people who are in the nearby will get a notification and say, hey, this person needs groceries or walk the dog or emotional support and so on. So that was the original hack. And since it has been like, it's supposed to be a tech talk, I would also kind of delve into this a bit. I think it's always better to prototype. So this kind of my takeaway from this. Same thing how Zelos started. It was first, I didn't start developing it as an application, like standalone thing right off the bat. It was just hacked together from Drupal with public plugins and other kind of stuff, just to prototype and test it. And in the same way we did the hackathon a month ago. So instead of just kind of getting a team, which lots of people did, getting a team together and starting from scratch and drawing really nice mock-ups and maybe some interactive prototypes. However, they won't be used, or they can't be used in time. So by using existing parts, we literally could onboard a few thousand people in a couple of days and start doing task delegation and then replying them versus building it from scratch. However, since Trello is kind of fragile, so now we are building it from scratch. So I spent the last week, 2 weeks, I'm not sure anymore, I lost track of time a long time ago, coding the new backend. So during the hackathon, we started writing the front end as well. I got some help. There's a few engineers that came to rescue. So now we are building, after we validated the idea, now we're building an actual application which has its own forms, its own backend, back office, ticket moderation, and all this kind of fancy stuff. And so that's where we're at right now. The hackathon is still ongoing. We are waiting for results right now. We already did our submission. But that's the current situation. But yeah, that's kind of that's my story. So maybe you have questions.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that the approach to pivot through hackathon, I think, because you already have a company, and usually I think when I think about hackathons, I think about starting a new company, maybe. So what are the challenges to working with, because other people joined you who aren't part of your company as well, is that correct?
Yeah.
So what are
Yes.
the challenges with working with other people and then just using hackathon as a platform to pivot?
Well, that's a really good question. And I'm maybe the wrong person to talk about it because I have an amazing co-founder and I'm the CTO. So I'm stereotypically not the people's person. However, my co-founder is. She was the original. She had the idea of doing some sort of gamified task management or like kind of boosting thing for the film festival. She was managing volunteers, so she's been doing like World Orienteering Championships, the film festival for like more than 10 years, like different sports events. So we have great administration. And yeah, the thing about hackathons, it is true. So I've actually, that was my first hackathon a month ago. I've even though I'm in the startup scene, I've skipped the part when you get the team together. And like I said, this is, we already ran businesses separately and together with my co-founder. So this project kind of it made sense. But yeah, before that, I've done mentoring at hackathons, and yeah, it is complicated. No, it's complicated, but you see certain patterns of different kind of types of teams and what they're trying to do. And some people they want to build. They just want a prototype. They want to like have a concept, get like really good design in there, mock-ups, all that kind of stuff, and this kind of a pitch the idea, talk to people if it's valid or not, then maybe build a company on top of that. For us, it's a bit different. Like I said, we have an existing team and we've worked together for a while. So for us, it was really like all these have been because kind of planning execution. So everyone knows their role. We have our marketing, we have a sales involved. There's a tech side here. my co-founder is managed to bring all the people together. So it's like I said, it's very different, yes, and it's great to have a good team. And some of the great successes I know, like locally in Estonia, have started from a hackathon, and so that actually that's the takeaway is if you wanna take it seriously, you need to prepare and you need to have a plan, and you need to do it before the hackathon. In Tallinn, we have there's a company called Rebel Roam, so they're doing Wi-Fi solutions for transportation, like airplanes, buses, trains, and so on. So it's like a DNA-based solution. They just throttle CDNs to downres video and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, they also got started by just kind of a hackathon at Telecom, so they knew what the hackathon was about. They knew what the company was looking for. They knew what the panel is looking for, and that's what they had. So they kind of went and executed. So yeah, it's kind of advice to, if you want to do something and going to succeed. Not to say that just going to hackathon and having fun is in any way worse. It's for most people, I think it's better even. It depends what your goals are. But going as a company, it's different. That's all I can say in a roundabout way.
Well, what about the existing code sharing? Because I guess you had to share the code to other people. So how do you go about that? Was it just like, okay, let's let it to be open source, so let's trust these people, or you just gave access to APIs, or what is your approach, and how would you do it maybe next time?
Good question. So yeah, the Zelos was in its proprietary, so we have not open source Zelos. However, Zelos does have an open API. So if you have an account or a workspace, you can automate anything you want. So that's why we also, like in the beginning, we said we don't want to turn the product into something that it's not, even though it might be good for now. So like for Domenico, it's, if you're in hospitals, you're doing this now, you get it's like more relevant. You get like kind of a new niche in there, but it's still your main business. It's not same for us. So that's like there's a separation of code. So the service API and the new application are open source. So the task, like the ticket management is there for everyone. However, Zelos is not. So we are still licensing it for big companies, not big companies, sorry, still thinking about companies, countries. So we have interest from Hungary, for example. So they want to have about 10,000 people in the platform. So so we just kind of had this freemium model in a sense. However, if you're a small community town, then we start with free with like 50 people slots, and then we also offer extra discounts. So it's really cheap. So you get the small community going, which is what Latvians did as well. I think yours is by it's Majas, or what's called, it's my Latvian is bad, sorry. A stay at home kind of project. So they are using this as well. But yeah, it is difficult to kind of like separate it, and also we're still discussing it now. It's like, well, where to take it, because the new thing is built. It's built as a dedicated app. However, it is dependent on Zelos. So long term, if you get the community behind it, we might extend it to, or people can already extend it to. You can use any task management you want. You can, put it into Trello or Asana, or connected to your Slack or Discord. So there are ways of doing it, and I think if people are doing it, if it's useful and there's community behind it, it's going to be like a single stop kind of product for like smaller needs. And then when you're talking about thousands, then Zelos can come in. So it's I think it's sort of a good balance between having a commercial software solution and then also providing something to the community.
If I get it right, you also collaborated with a telecommunication company, so you use their existing center data. No, not data centers, but call centers. So how does a collaboration go, and also these kind of like where the separation between ours and yours, and how does it all come together?
Yeah, it's essentially microservice based. Sort of think of it as this way. Like for example, the original API back in the day, it's just it's two serverless functions, just one for incoming web, one for the form, and one for Trello, and it just sits in the background and fires whenever something happens. So Tele 2, gave us access to their call center and SMS gateway. So the call center is separate, so all the people there have it installed. They just kind of log in and they have the number and can manage things. And SMS is just a REST API. So whenever something happens and text needs to be sent, it just fires a post request, and that's pretty much it. So.
All right, I don't think we have any questions from people, and as we are not live on Facebook and people haven't joined here that much.
I see one.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. There's one person. I don't know if he just showed up or not.
Yeah. So if you have a question, no pressure on you. Okay, but so the COVID well, hopefully it will pass, and then now it's kind of like your main focus at the moment. So where would this all infrastructure and then like the collaboration with Tele2 and everything, where do you think where will it go? Will it go just will it all be lost, or you'll have maybe a new direction, a new way how you would do things?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, that's why we kept the project separate, because it is not our new direction. It is temporary. We are obviously talking to different organizations which are like close to that. So volunteer search and rescue, for example, it's all volunteer based pretty much everywhere, and it's big in Germany, for example. So crisis relief in disaster areas. So we are looking into kind of this vertical, because the bottom line for us is like, or the concept is that we have a scalable way of crowdsourcing tasks from thousands of people. So that's kind of the root of it, and this is what we kind of apply to things. But it's let's just say it's not the business. It is to do a dedicated thing for this would be, it makes sense for a hackathon team, which kind of comes and goes or maybe stays around. But we are like company with longer history and like a roadmap and investors and stakeholders. So we have to think like long term where we're going with this, and it's not the market that can sustain us like long term.
Well, definitely it's for a good cause at the moment, at least. So I think we don't have any more questions, and so hopefully maybe if there will be some under comment section, we can maybe have this continue going if you're up to answering some questions there if people ask. And yeah, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Chris.
Hopefully it will bring some light to the stuff that people are doing. Companies are how companies are helping and how companies can help maybe to pivot their product or use their existing product. And yeah, let's stay safe, let's stay at home, and thank you for joining. And I hope you have a great Easter holiday. At least how
It's
great
Easter?
Yeah, tomorrow it's Easter.
Oh, so there we go.
I
learn something new every day.
Before I scheduled this event, I didn't know as well. So, yeah, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you both for joining and having this talk. If there's something you want to add to the discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you both.
Good luck, guys. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Bye bye.
Stay healthy in
Have a nice day.
Italy.
Stay
Bye.
home.
Bye.
Bye bye.